Welcome to the Metal Voice. Big treat. Two legends in the house, their house. Who do we got? Gary Holt.
Hello.
From Slayer, Paul Bostaph.
That's right. Very good.
Paul Bostaph.
Yeah.
Guys, what's going on, man?
Just getting ready to play another show, you know. No, it's sold out show tonight, you know, it should be nuts. Just on the other side of the fence, right outside the bus, is everybody's gathering outside, you know, in the little drinking area, I guess, of the venue, and it sounds like they're ready to go. So.
Old school.
Yeah,
old school.
That's pretty good.
All right, right off the bat, the new video. All right, it's got a lot of symbolism. It's got a lot of, you know, the swastikas. It's got a lot of gore. It's got a lot of guts. Whose idea was all this? I mean, what are your thoughts, Paul? What are your thoughts on this?
Man, I just showed up and played.
I know. You showed up and froze to death?
Yeah.
Where was it filmed, the winter scene?
It was in the mountains in the high desert in Southern California.
Yeah, it was freezing cold.
God. Yeah.
I mean, it's freezing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the only video I've ever done with like thermals, hoodies, scarf, and winter, like sub-zero socks.
So it's not a green
on.
screen? No.
No. We were freezing to death. That shit was genuinely
But what are your thoughts?
cold.
I mean, you saw the final product. All you guys were freezing to death. Then you saw the final product. First reaction?
It's awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
You know, I think it could have pushed it further.
Really?
Yeah.
But Blood and Guts could have pushed it further?
Yeah, the envelope just it can always be pushed further from me.
For Slayer.
You know, I don't have a filter. I'll just make a video that no one will ever show. If you left it up to me, yeah, you know.
And with YouTube, I mean, right, today, you just, you know, sky's the limit, right? That's what it comes down to. You can
I guess
show
so,
pretty much almost anything, right?
Yeah, but you know,
there's some sort of...
It's the final part of the trilogy of the music videos, you know.
Yes.
And you watch them, you know, in their actual order, you know, which they weren't released that way.
Yeah.
And the whole story unfolds, you know, and like the final video for Pride and Prejudice is what is the conclusion of it all, you know.
Yeah. So the album, all right? The album's been out now. What's the fan reaction? What is your reaction now that you look back at it after, you know, working on I know you got hurt. Your wrist, it was right from playing the solos.
Yeah, I blew it out, did some to a tendon, but you know, fortunately I was done. I mean, I could always came back, but I just kept going and it started hurting, like, something's going on here, but played through it. The next day I couldn't even move it, you know. Like,
Paul, your drum work, right? Are you proud of it? I mean,
savage.
Is there anything you would want to change, or you're just...
You know, there's always something you go back and listen to and think you could have done
all of
better.
it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like
for me.
Yeah, it's a moment in time.
Yeah.
It's a photograph of that moment. And, you know, we play the songs now and we take our liberties with them, and I do. And,
I'm hearing Neil Peart there, Canadian Neil Peart. I mean, is he an influence or?
Neil Peart?
Yeah.
Yeah, Neil Peart's I would say Neil Peart's a dangerous influence as a drummer for me, because when I was in high school, everybody wanted to be Neil Peart.
Yeah.
So all the drummers, that's what they did. They did all Neil Peart stuff. I played 2112 over and over again. I love that album, you know.
Yeah.
But I went a different way.
Yeah.
You know, I went Iron Maiden.
Okay.
Way,
Yeah,
you know,
sure,
Clapper,
sure. Yeah.
you know, Nico McBrain,
Yeah.
because nobody even knew who Iron Maiden was. They were all into Rush and Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
So, you know, just kind of, is he an influence? Yes, but do I try to emulate? No, because he has his own signature style, and you know, I don't want to sound like Neil Peart because he's Neil Peart. You know what I mean? I want to try to be myself. So.
Yeah, I really love your drumming on the album, by the way.
Thank you.
It's great job. Gary, your influences growing up?
You know, all classic hard rock stuff, you know. Ronnie Montrose, Ted Nugent, Frank Marino, you know, Angus Young, obviously Tony Iommi, and, you know, Rory Gallagher, and all these just great rock guitar players. You know, I'm the youngest out of 6, and I don't listen to what my 4 brothers listened to, you know, and metal came later. For me, it was just all, you know, this classic hard rock stuff, you know.
Yeah. Favorite album, favorite track on the new album? Come here. Repentless, pick it up. Favorite new track?
My favorite track on Repentless? Man, that's a tough one. You know, Jesus, I'd have to say probably Cast the First Stone, but then I'd also say Piano Wire.
Gary?
You Against You. Maybe it's because it's the only song that I wouldn't redo every solo in it if I had the chance.
Yeah.
I don't ever like my stuff. I'm ready to do
For me,
it
it's
all
Pride and
over.
Prejudice. I just love your drumming on it. There's something South of Heaven vibe going on there.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I think that's fair.
So, Okay, now you both auditioned for the band. Did you, Paul? Did you have an audition, or first time, second time? What was that all about?
Well, the first time I did audition.
Yeah.
I mean, my name was. I mean, they tried out a bunch of different guys. I was the last guy, the last name that they said, okay, let's give this guy a shot. And they'd already had somebody come in, but he was working out, but he just didn't quite nail some parts that he probably should have, and so they just went, man, maybe we should just revisit this and give somebody else a shot. So my name kept coming up throughout the entire process, and they passed me over. So finally they said, well, my friend John Tempesta, you know Johnny. Johnny kept telling him, dude, try this guy. So finally they said, okay, well, what do we got to lose? So I came in and nailed it.
Okay, Gary.
I didn't rehearse.
No.
I mean, audition.
Did you even have an audition?
No, of course
not. I mean, they go, okay, bring him in. Okay.
Kerry called me up. I was out playing on the inaugural 70,000 tons of metal cruise, and my good mutual friend of mine and Kerry's, my tattoo artist on almost everything, Bob Tyrell, was on the boat. And Kerry didn't want to bug me while I was on the boat, so he texted Bob and said, have Holt call me when he gets home, gets back to shore and gets, actually at home. I called him up and he explained what was going on with Jeff and asked if I wanted to help him out and fill in. I said, sure. I had the time off at the time. I didn't realize it'd be a 5.5-year endeavor,
Yeah.
riddled with tragedy in the middle of it. I thought it was just a
crazy, yeah.
2-tour thing and helping him out till Jeff took his rightful spot back, but
Yeah.
That didn't happen, and unfortunately I'm still here, because if I said fortunately, that means I wish Jeff wasn't. I'd rather Jeff be here, because this is Jeff's spot.
The best Jeff story.
Oh, I can't tell you those. Those are
there's
private.
just so many.
Those are personal.
Yeah.
I have
I have a couple of really great, but those are for me.
Okay, all right, it's all good. It's all
Yeah.
Paul.
We were playing in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. This might have been on Diablos and Musica. It's not my best Jeff story, but it's one of my favorite. It kind of exemplifies how he used to stirring the pot up. And what I mean by stirring the pot, he always liked a little bit of chaos to give when things were boring, just to get a laugh. Jeff liked to laugh. So we'd go from the backstage to the bus, and there was this there were fans outside, and the security, and especially after the show, the security would keep them. They were really polite. All the fans were really polite, and we'd always go out and sign after the gig. But we kept walking back and forth the bus, So I had to take my bag out to the bus after the gig, and then I was going to sign stuff for people. So I'm out there, I walk by, and everybody starts saying, Bostaph sucks, Bostaph sucks.
Jeez.
And I'm like, and I stop and I look, and I'm looking, and I see Jeff standing in the middle of everybody. He's just cracking up. He went out there, stood in the middle of everybody, and goes, okay, well, Paul comes
Led the
out.
cheer.
Yeah. He
That's
was
awesome.
like, okay, do it when I say. And Jeff's just cracking up. So it's just one of those things he just liked to have some fun.
All right, switching gears, Exodus. Are you going to be contributing to the next Slayer album? Are you planning on contributing?
I'd hope so.
Do you think that, you got Exodus, The Machine, and you have Slayer, and the music ideas are going to thin out, or once that can of worms is open, it's going to be an explosion of ideas?
I'm never at a loss for musical ideas, I'm lucky in that
Are
sense.
you guys writing now? Are you thinking?
After this tour, I got 3.5 months off, so my goal is to come out of that with the next Exodus album recorded and done, for a 2017 release, so, writing riffs is easy to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm any better than anybody else. I just like writing riffs, it's not hard, it's not rocket science. I'm doing something I really enjoy doing, it's like Steph Curry can nail 3-point shots all day long, and I can write riffs, it's easy,
Yeah.
It's like him hitting a free throw. It's not hard. It's just you gotta, put in the time, and and when it happens,
Yeah, and Paul, all right, you got so many bands. You play with Jeff Tate, you play with Testament, you play with pretty much everyone. Have you heard the New Testament song?
Yeah, you mean Brotherhood of the Snake?
Brotherhood of the Snake.
Yeah, I like that song.
It's
killer.
great. Nation of Damnation, to me, it was like an amazing piece of work, isn't it?
It was killer. I love Testament. They're friends of mine. They're family, and but I'm here. I'm back. I kind of feel like I'm kind of back where I belong. For whatever reason that is. This feels like coming home to me.
And what was it like working with Jeff Tate on the FU album?
You know what? I got called in to they had 5 songs, and
yeah.
that amongst a bunch of other material.
Yeah.
I got called in at the last second. I mean, it was cool. I mean, you know, it was basically, I barely knew the songs. I came in and they just sent me some ideas with, you know, with click tracks to them, and I just went in and jammed them out. I mean, so it was, I mean, Jeff was a nice guy,
Yeah.
you know, and I mean, that's about the extent of my exposure. It's like I came in, I was there for like 5 hours and left.
Did your job, right? You did your job. So guys, anything you want to tell your fans? The thrash tour that's going on throughout North America. I don't know, now's a chance.
Slayer, Anthrax, and Death Angel. Thrash metal wet dream. It's fucking awesome. And you know, it's I'd have to really dig deep to come up with a tour where I did where there's like all three bands are like such really close friends, you know. And especially for me and the guys from Death Angel are really close. And Anthrax, I think myself personally, I've toured with them more times than anybody else in my career, you know. 3 or 4 times with Exodus, you know, probably 3 times while in Slayer, you know. And so, you know, it's a really great environment, and people should come check this shit out.
Paul, your thoughts on Death Angel, Anthrax?
Dude, Death Angel, like, they're, you know, they're part of the Bay Area thrash scene, obviously, but, you know, when Forbidden was up and coming and they had their first album out, they're the first band that reached out to us and took the time to give us our first support slot. And, you know, we started supporting them in the Bay Area, and it worked out really well. And they took us on when they did Act 3. We did a whole world tour with them.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're brothers of mine. I mean, they're awesome people.
Killer
They're
band,
family.
killer band.
Yeah.
And their last 3 albums have been monumental. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
new albums.
So I'm looking forward to the show.
All right, on.
Guys, pick up Repentless. Make sure to pick it up. Gary Holt, Paul Bostaph, thank you for being on the show.
Cool, thank you.
This was a real pleasure.
Thank you for having us.